Task number 2, Databases 101. It's part of the SQL Fundamentals room inside the Cybersecurity 101 learning path in Try Hack Me. Introducing databases. I love when it's this much text just to introduce a database. Okay, so we've been told just how important they are. Now it's time to understand what they are in the first place. As mentioned in the introduction, databases are so ubiquitous that you are very likely to interact with the systems that are using them. Thank you for just repeating. Databases are an organized collection of structured information or data that is easily accessible and can be manipulated or analyzed. It can be this only in the entire paragraphos. That data can take many forms, such as user authentication data, such as user passwords, users and passwords, which are stored and checked against when authenticating into an application or a site. Like tryhackme.com, for example. User-generated data on social media like Instagram, Facebook, where data such as user posts, comments, likes, and so on are collected and stored, as well as information such as watch history, which is stored by streaming services such as Netflix and used to generate recommendations. I'm sure you get the point. Databases are used extensively and can contain many different things. It's not just massive scale businesses that use databases. Small scale businesses, when setting up, will almost certainly have to configure a database to store their data. All the data, or let's say 90% of the data that hackers will try to steal, are in the databases. Speaking of kinds of databases, let's take a look now at what those are. Different types of databases. Perfect. We have a relational database, which is table-based, which is SQL, and non-relational databases, key value pairs, graphics, wide columns, documents, MongoDB basically. Now it makes sense that something is used by so many and for relatively so long that there would be multiple types of implementations. There are quite a few different types of databases that can be built, but for this introductory room, you are going to focus on two primary types: relational databases, aka SQL, and non-relational databases, aka NoSQL. Relational databases store structured data, meaning the data inserted into this database follows a structure. For example, the data collected on a user consists of first name, last name, email, username, and password. For example, it can contain any information that you want. When a new user joins, an entry is made in the database following this structure. First name, last name, email, user, password. This structured data is stored in row and columns in a table, all of which will be converted shortly. Relationships can then be made between two or more tables. For example, user and order history. Right? It makes sense. Hence the term relational databases. So in a relational database, in a SQL database, you will have tables, right? It's a structured data. You will have a table with columns and rows. The relation is the fact that for a table where you contain the data of a user, you have a new table that will contain the orders. And in that order table is not only one user that will order something, there are multiple ones. Right? And that table will have to communicate with the user table. Structured data, pretty simple. Non-relational databases, instead of storing data the above way in a structured table, store data in a non-tabular format. For example, if documents are being scanned, which can contain varying types and quantities of data, and are stored in a database, that calls for a non-tabular format. Here is an example of what that might look like. Here we can see again all sorts of data, right? For a user, for example, here we see from Thomas Anderson, We see the date of birth, we see the occupation, steps taken, right? So for instance, here we have an application that takes the Thomas and a user and then stores its steps, right? This is the ID. It has also a unique ID. It's the same as above, but in a different structured way. It stores the data the same way, but it's structured differently. In terms of what database should be chosen, it always comes down to the context in which the database is going to be used. Always it's a context. Like, for instance, you don't go to ride a bike, you don't go with skates, right? You have to choose the appropriate tool for your actions. This is the same way in software. You have to choose, you have to ask yourself what I want to create, what database do I need, what data I will store, and just choose the right tool. You have everything yet at your hand. Relational databases are often used when the data being stored is reliably going to be received in a consistent format, where accuracy is important, such as when processing e-commerce transactions, right? In an e-commerce website, you sell something, right? You know that all the data that will come from users, from the orders, it's pretty much the same structure, right? It's not very different. In that case, go for a relational database. A non-relational database, on the other hand, are better when the data being received can vary greatly in its format but need to be collected and organized in the same place, such as social media platforms connecting user-generated content. It's much different, right? Again, the context is very different. Data stored from a social media, which comes from a ton of places, versus an order, right? It's very simple and structured in an order, right? You order something from Amazon versus you communicate with your friends on social media. Very different things. Tables, rows and columns. Now that we've defined the two primary types of databases, we'll focus on relationship databases. We'll start by explaining tables, rows, and columns. All data stored in a relationship database will be stored in a table. For example, a collection of books in stock at the bookstore might be stored in a table named books. And here we see the unique IDs. We see the columns, right? We see the entire table and then the columns, ID, name, published date, and then rows for each one. You can see also in this neatly, very, very cool picture from TryHackMe, everything is highlighted, right? In red, we have the entire table. With blue, we have the rows, one row, row number 4. And then with green, we have just column name. When creating this table, you would need to define what pieces of information are needed to define a book record. For example, ID, name, and published date. Yes, so this is something that you will define. Your table will be your creation. You can create anything. This would be then your columns. When these columns are being defined, you would also define what data types this column should contain. If an attempt is made to insert a record into a database where the data type does not match, it is rejected. Yeah, so for instance, for names, you can choose the data type to be numbers. But that's crazy because that's name. It's string, right? The data types that can be defined can vary depending on what database you are using. But the core data type used by all includes strings, a collection of words and characters, integers, which is numbers, float decimals, numbers with decimal points, and times and dates. Once a table has been created with the column defined, the first record would be inserted into the database, for example, a book name. Here we see an example. Once inserted, this record would be represented as a row. With highlighted in blue. Primary and foreign keys. Here comes the relation between tables. Once a table has been defined and populated, more data may need to be stored. For instance, we want to create a table named authors. We have the book one, right? We have our books, our first table, And now we need the table authors. Here is a very clear example of a relationship. A book stored in books table is written by an author, stored in author table. If you wanted to query for a book in our story, but also have the author of that book returned, our data would need to be related somehow. We do this with keys. There are two types of keys, primary and foreign keys. Primary keys. A primary key is used to ensure that the data collected in a certain column is unique. Primary key, this is unique. That is, there needs to be a way to identify each record stored in a table, a value unique to the record, and is not repeated by any other record in that table. Think about matriculation numbers in a university. There are numbers assigned to a student so they can be uniquely identified in records, as sometimes students can have the same name. A column have to be chosen in each table as a primary key. In our example, ID would make the most sense, as an ID has been uniquely created for each book, whereas books can have the same publication date, or in rare cases, book title. Note that there can only be one primary key column in a table. Foreign keys. A foreign key is a column or columns in a table that also exist in another table within the database, and therefore provides a link between the two tables, author ID with the ID, right? Yeah, so for instance, let's say ethical hacking number 5, right? The primary key, which is the unique number, is 5 for ethical hacking in the books table. But if we go to the author ID, is number 5. If we check in the author's ID, number 5, we say Daniel Graham. Let's pick something else. For instance, if you go in the books table number, what do you want? Number 1, let's say, okay? Actually, okay, Android security internals. This is a good example because I wanted to show you something. For example, in the books table and authors table, they will not be on the same row. This is the thing. This is why we need, let's say, joined columns to match them, because it will not be the first entry. For instance, yes, this is the first entry in our books table, Android security internals, but for the author ID, it has number 2. If we check in the authors table, number 2 is Nikolai Elenkov, right? So you get the point. In our example, think about adding an author ID field to our books table. This would then act as a foreign key because the author ID in our books table corresponds to the ID column in the authors table. Foreign keys are what allow the relationship between different tables in relational databases. Note that there can be more than one foreign key columns in a table. So we can have more than just, for instance, in these two tables, we can have more than one foreign key. Answer the question below. What type of database should you consider using if your data you are going to be storing will vary greatly in its format? Non-relational databases. What type of database should you consider using if you're using a data that is reliable? We'll paste this and just delete it. Relational database. In our example, once a record of a book is inserted into our books table, it would be represented as a row. Which type of key provides a link from one table to another? Foreign key. Which type of key ensures a record is unique? Primary key.